It is Y105, Dubuque's #1 hit music station. My name is Steve Pulaski. My next guest has been a mainstay on popular sitcoms like Mike and Molly and Bob Hearts Abishola. He'll be out in our neck of the woods on Saturday, February 15th at the Mississippi Moon Bar at the Diamond Joe Casino. Tickets available at diamondjoedubuque.com. He'll be bringing the laughs and spades, and I'm grateful to have him on the show today. He's Mr. Billy Gardell. Billy, how are you today?
Dude, what an incredible intro. You don't need me, man. That was it. That was great. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Billy. I'm a fan myself. First things first, when was the last time you were in Iowa?
I want to say I did this run probably about 2013, about the third year of Mike and Molly. And then I finished Mike and Molly, and I was still doing stand-up, and then I took a year off and did a short-lived series called Sun Records, where I played Colonel Parker, which was on CMT, which is some of the best acting I think I've done, but I think about 12 people saw it. And then I went back to stand-up, and then did Bob Hearts Abishola, and then quit comedy for about 3 years. I thought I was done with it. And then the bug just hit me again. I started, tooling around town, doing little spots at the clubs in town. And, man, I guess once a comic, always a comic. And so as I've been writing this new hour and out on the road, I've been out for about 8 months now and started to get my swing back. And it's been really, really fun. And what I've been doing is just kind of retracing my steps through places that I've been in the last probably 5-10 years, and just hitting that touchstone again and building back up again. And it's going better than I thought it was. So I'm really happy about it.
What can people expect from this show, Billy?
Well, my gig right now is, I always break my thing into 4 quarters like a football game. And the first quarter of my act is about changing because, of course, I lost 173 pounds and trying to live a healthier lifestyle and the hell that goes with that. And then the second part is about having a 21-year-old who's left the house. And, I think it's important for kids now to know there's an adult rooting for them. I think it's kind of low-hanging fruit to just rip on them. I think they need to know that there's a cool Gen Xer out there that's rooting for them, and maybe share some life hacks with them. And then the back half of my act is about, being married for 25 years and getting to that sweet spot where it's a great delight to have someone in your life after that long.
You mentioned it. I want to congratulate you on your tremendous weight loss, Billy. You look great. You sound great. How has it altered your life?
In so many ways, man. I did it for health. It was strictly a health move. I was in some health danger. I had type 2 diabetes at the time, and cholesterol and blood pressure. And, at some point you can't outrun the numbers. And I had to do something pretty drastic because I was up to, I think I was like at 370 or somewhere in there when it happened. And it was huge. It was a huge change in my life, and I'm grateful I did it. And, there's all the health things, like type 2 diabetes is gone, my blood pressure's right, my cholesterol's right. The irony is I have to now eat like all the people I used to make fun of. So there is a karmic payback for all your sarcasm. But it's a great delight, man, and I get to do things now that I haven't done. I took a surfing lesson, which was always on my bucket list, and I get to fly in a middle seat just because I can. So it's these little freedoms that have come in, but the most important part is I'm healthy.
He's Billy Gardell. Saturday, February 15th, going to be at the Mississippi Moon Bar at the Diamond Joe Casino. Tickets available again at diamondjoedubuque.com. A few questions while I got you, Billy. Didn't expect this little curveball that you said a few minutes ago, though. But what made you think you were done with comedy just a couple of years ago? What made you think that was it?
Man, I had been working for so long and doing stand-up for so long, and then I got into the second sitcom, which is such a gift. I mean, who gets one, let alone two? And the second one, I started to really feel like, COVID had hit, and my kid was in high school at the time, and so there was, all that staying in the house time, and I just wanted to be around to be supportive for him while that was going on. And then the pressure of doing a show without the audience and trying to make that funny with nobody in the room, and I think those two things, that cocktail was just like, I don't have the energy to do stand-up as well. And then being away from it for a while, I thought, well, maybe that part's finished. And then, it really is like a ghost that haunts you, because the minute that stuff all lifted and the show ended, it was the first thing I started thinking about again.
Mike and Molly ran for over 120 episodes. Bob Hearts Abishola concluded last year with just under 100 episodes. Why do you think these shows were so popular with audiences, in your opinion and your experiences?
That's easy. Love. That's the secret sauce in most of those shows. I mean, Mike and Molly was a show about two people who thought they'd never fall in love, falling in love, which is really easy to root for. And then Bob Hearts Abishola is an example that love just doesn't really see any culture or any color. When you're in love, you're in love. And when you marry somebody, you marry the entire family, which is where I think the comedy and heart came from that show.
When was the last time you connected with Melissa McCarthy?
We talked a couple months ago. We check in every few months. The group from Mike and Molly, man, they were, we all kind of got success together. So we're all still very, very close. And actually, they just had me on. They did a parody, this crazy podcast. It's kind of a parody of The Lord of the Rings, and they had me come in and play a foul-mouthed wizard, which I was very grateful for, and it was fun. But no, we check in with each other, and her and Ben and their family, and they check in with us. And I talked to Reno a lot, who God, I was friends with. That was Officer Carl, my partner in Mike and Molly, and I knew him for 10 years before Mike and Molly even hit. So that's a tight-knit group over there. We still talk a lot.
You were a recurring presence, too, on one of my personal favorite sitcoms, Yes, Dear.
Well, man, what a wonderful experience that was. Greg Garcia, who was the executive producer, him and Alan Kirschenbaum, rest his soul. I actually auditioned for the part of Jimmy, which was played by Mike O'Malley.
Yes.
And I think Mike became free, and they offered Mike that part. But Greg said, "Look, I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna bring you in." And I was like, "Okay." And but I guess about the middle of the first year, they wrote a great guest starring part where I was O'Malley's best friend from Maryland. And they named me Billy, which is great. I think that was just because they think I couldn't answer to anything else. But they brought me in, and I did a good job. And Greg said, "We're going to bring you back to reoccur." And that was my first semi-steady job in Hollywood, really. And I was on about every 4 or 5 episodes. And I loved that sitcom. It was a super fun sitcom to do. And that was really like Greg and Alan. That was, if you looked at it like a football career, that would have been my college years, because I learned so much on that set, which really helped me when I ended up with Mike and Molly.
I wish that show was easier to find. It seems like one of those sitcoms that's kind of just like fallen off the radar. I don't really know how syndicated it is in the modern day, too. Did you get to bond with Mike O'Malley? Anthony Clark, too, another sitcom actor, did a lot of stand-up, too. I'm a big Anthony Clark fan, too. You get to bond with those guys on set?
I got along with those guys fabulously. I still talk with Mike quite a bit. And that show, I don't know what happened with syndication with that show, because it should have been syndicated bigger, because I thought it was a well-done sitcom, and it was pretty popular, too. And TBS had it for a little while,
Yep.
And then I don't know what happened. Now you can find it, weirdly enough, on YouTube, but that's a show that I think should be recycled into Netflix or somewhere like that, because that show had some great moments.
There's a lot of sitcoms, I think, that fall down that path, too. Still Standing's another one, too, that got syndicated for a while and then kind of fell off the radar, and that one I miss dearly, too.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's weird. You never know, like, what's going to stick. That's why I'm really blown away. Like, Bob Hearts just went into syndication, and syndication's not as big as it was wide-reaching wise today because of the streamers, and but Mike and Molly, man, that one I can say I truly believe that made it to the rare era of classic television, because that show was canceled in 2016, and it's on probably 4 times a day now everywhere, and I'm just so grateful for the fans of that.
Whether it's a project, a personal venture, another lifestyle change, or something of that sort, Billy, what's left on Billy Gardell's bucket list that you still want to accomplish?
Well, I would like to get even a little healthier. I got to build up some muscle. I lost a lot of weight. And, I went from the guy that used to be like, "Get out of the way," to, "I'm sorry, did I bump you?" So I'm trying to put a little strength around the bones, hips and knees. So I want to get into a good workout routine. That's on my bucket list. I'd like to get one more gig and maybe try the dramatic side of things if that opens up for me. I wouldn't mind playing a dramatic guy one time, see how that goes. And then, you know, my main goal now is to kind of root for my kid who is studying film and cinema, and I want to watch his career and then hope that it takes off for him like it did for me.
He's going to be smart and successful just like Dad, I take it?
I hope, man, but we all make our stumbles and we all make our mistakes. And, you know, I find that parenting comes after the fall, you know, and when your kid makes a mistake or when your kid, you know, tries something and it doesn't work out and you're there to help pick them up and, you know, tell them, hey, look, this is when I fell through the cracks or when I fell down, this is how I got back up. And I think that's where great parenting comes. And I just like to root them on, you know. So I don't know. I told them when you do this business, man, you're in it for a hamburger or you're in it for a lot of money, one way or the other. You know, you have to do it because you love it, because that's really where I think the success finds you.
He's not only funny, he's full of wisdom, too. He's Billy Gardell. He's going to be at the Mississippi Moon Bar at the Diamond Joe Casino Saturday, February 15th. Tickets available now at DiamondJoeDubuque.com. Billy, you're wonderful. I want to give you the final word, too. You could talk about your tour that you're on right now, your social medias, your website. Where can people find you? I really just want to leave you with the final word, man.
You're super kind, man. And my final word is just thank you for your time. It was a great interview. Again, sorry for delaying a little bit. I was under the weather out here on the road, but I'm doing much better. You can find me on, I got a kid who runs this stuff now because you got to have this. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and just come out to the show and have a laugh, man. Let's get some laughs. I think that's what we need most right now.